Coming to you from an undisclosed location somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains, I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Welcome to a very special report. We're going to be talking about the First Amendment, and we'll get into that. But first, a word from our trusted sponsor. It turns out the key to losing weight and keeping it off is not in carbs or fat or even in probiotic-rich foods. Nope. The end game of having a healthy weight, as well as more energy and a long, healthy life, comes down to a specific switch you can flip in your body to flush out unnecessary calories. Dr. Stephen Gundry is calling this caloric bypass. And by activating this specific process in your body, he has seen thousands, that's right, thousands of people dramatically improve their health, even at age 50 and beyond. This includes losing weight, getting tons more energy, and returning to the good health they had in their youth once they simply addressed this one key to better health. Not only that, this is actually associated with improved digestion, strong feeling joints and muscles, smoother skin, and healthier lives, meaning it could be the key to a happy life. Dr. Stephen Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone, his health is fantastic, and he feels younger and healthier today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date. And you can watch and learn more about it. And here's the link, folks, thehealthyfat.com/LA, thehealthyfat.com/LA. It's linked at the bottom of this video, but it'll teach you exactly how he has kept his weight off for free at thehealthyfat.com/LA. Folks, click on the link. And again, results may vary. I'm taking the vitamins that he's given me, and so far it's been good. And these are the claims of our sponsor, not necessarily those of Spiral of Life or L.A. Marzulli. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I will be continuing this over on our Rumble account because, well, you'll see why. But we're going to talk about the First Amendment because it's really important, because we've just come through, with all due respect to the prior administration, 4 years of censorship, deliberate censorship. There are still platforms where you are censored. There are people in the country that look at the Christian, they're basically biased against the Christian worldview. Let me just say this. I have not been invited to one UFO conference this year from the other side, from the so-called New Agers. And there's a reason for that, because they don't want to hear what I have to say. So in other words, it's okay to believe in, the whole New Age thing and the extraterrestrials are our friends and everything that people like Stephen Greer and others of his ilk are promulgating. But the moment you say that these are nefarious entities that have a very dark agenda, whoa, can't go there. So is it really freedom of speech? Why is it that some of these UFO conferences, I don't even get a call anymore? I will be on Coast to Coast in a couple of weeks, and I'll let you know the date fairly soon. So George Noory is at least an open platform. He's got everybody from all different sides, and, which is great because we need that. But I want to read the First Amendment, because without the First Amendment, and I'm getting this in some ways from pundits like Tucker Carlson and Victor Hansen and others, who talk about the importance of the First Amendment. It's there for a reason. Let's get into it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So this is so important. And, it's just this one little sentence, with a couple of semicolons in there. And it's unbelievable. Let's walk through it. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. The reason for this was they didn't want to have one denomination, like we're going to go Presbyterian, we're going to go Baptist. They didn't want to do that. So that's not there. And this is why we have freedom of religion in this country. This is why there are Jews, there are Buddhists, there are Muslims, and, some of this stuff we got to be careful with, and I'll go into that maybe over on the Rumble side, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. In other words, if I stand up in a Pentecostal church and speak in tongues, which I had done before, by the way, and I know that's going to raise their hair on somebody's head. But if I do that, it's okay. I'm not going to get arrested. Get that? I'm not going to get arrested. It's not China where I have to meet secretly underground because I believe in Jesus. I can proclaim that. However, under the last administration, all this was sort of submerged. I think that's a fair statement. Submerged. The whole Christian viewpoint has been marginalized, set to the side, as it were. And there's a reason for that, folks. There's a reason for that. Because those on the left hate what Christians stand for. Now, I'm painting with a very broad brush, but it's basically true. They don't want to hear about Jesus. They don't want to hear about the resurrection. They don't want to hear about things like the Shroud of Turin, which is the most probed cloth on the planet. Scientific evidence shows that it is a 2,000-year-old artifact, but I digress as usual. They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about right and wrong. They don't want to hear about absolute morality. They don't want to hear about that many Christians stand up and go, there are only two genders. Oh my gosh, you're a homophobe, you're this. It's always a label. Why don't we sit down and discuss it? Before I get into this, and I'll get into this, I'll make some notes here so I can talk about this on Rumble so I don't forget. So the next line is, or abridging the freedom of speech, which is what this whole really episode is about. If I'm not free to say what I want to say, now I can't yell fire in a theater. I mean, I get that. You can't do that when there's no fire. Can't do that. Causes a stampede, people die. I get that. But I should be able to say and voice my opinions on any subject that I want to. If I don't agree with a particular paradigm, I should be able to voice that without fear of retribution. Without fear of retribution. Without fear of being demonetized or deplatformed. There's a book that I read years ago, and it was about the idea that someone like myself can spend 10, 15 years building up a business, because that's what, in some ways, this YouTube account here, which is what you're watching, is a business. We have a sponsor. The sponsor pays us. We can advertise our books and DVDs. It's great. And I don't pay anything for it. In fact, YouTube gives us a check at the end of every month based on our views. It's incredible. It's a great platform. However, you can get a fact checker, a so-called fact checker, looking at something that I'm doing, and because maybe they're biased, they can give me a strike. Now, we don't have any strikes because I try to toe the line. But the bottom line is I'm not free to really say what I think about a myriad of subjects, And this is why we go to Rumble. And what's tragic about this, I'll just give you an example. There's a gentleman, and I won't say his name. They had 650,000 followers. Okay? 650,000 followers. And they said some things that were politically incorrect or whatever. Bam, deplatform. That should not be happening in the United States of America. It should not be happening. I get the community guidelines and all this other stuff, but why is it when I can go on this platform and I can type in, let's say, some radical stuff from radical Islam, why is that still there? Why is that not taken down? So this is the problem. And hear my art here. The moment we start going, well, we can't have that speech or this speech, then someone is telling us this is acceptable and this isn't. That's not free. That's not free. And we should have free speech in this country. Why? Because constitutionally, it's guaranteed. And the argument from the left has been, oh, these are private companies and they can control it. Nonsense. And I hope and pray that Donald J. Trump will look at this and change it. Now, Elon Musk is a perfect example. He completely redirected everything. And other social media platforms are like, for instance, Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook is saying, well, we're getting rid of the whole fact checker thing. Good. It's a step in the right direction. Anyway, folks, let me see. I will be at the Prophecy Watchers Conference. That's the first conference of the year. January, obviously the fires, and I'll give you a fire update sometime this week. But it's very tenuous times that we live in out here with the threat of fire. I'm reading a book about the king and queen of Malibu. It's about the Ringes Frederick Gringe and his wife May, and they owned all of Malibu at one point. Even where I'm sitting was owned by them. Now the Deckers came up and propagated this canyon and other canyons like Encinal Canyon, and so there was this war going on. But in the book, The King and Queen of Malibu, it stated there are 3 seasons in Malibu: winter, summer, and fire season. And it's exactly what we live with. And, people go, oh, you should get out of here. The Lord gave me a word 44 years ago, it'll be 45 years ago this June. LA, you're doing this for yourself. The land is yours. After the fire burned and we had the place up for sale, there were no buyers. The Lord said, pick up a stone at your Ebenezer, at your promise stone. LA, the land is yours. And we go down and there it is on the billboard at LAX. L.A. This land is yours, Santa Monica Mountains. I'm not making this up. I will say this: if the Lord told us to move, there'd be a for sale sign up here within 24 hours. But that's not what he's telling us. And, we have fire suppression equipment and hoses, 1.5-inch hoses. So, we're talking gallons and gallons of water that shoot like 75, 80, 90 feet. It's amazing. It's amazing. And we've got 2 of these things stationed at different parts of the property. Anyway, I'll give you a fire update later. The First Amendment is absolutely so important to us. Without freedom of speech, we have nothing. And that's the first thing. You'll notice that the Soviet Union, the former Soviet Union, that's the game that they played. This is what if you say anything against the state or the government, boom, off you go to the gulag, literally, to the gulag. And I read Alexander's Solzhenitsyn's book, which is absolutely mind-boggling. Millions of people. We don't even know the number. They don't even know the number. 50 million, 60 million, and the Chinese are worse. 80, 90, 100 million, who knows? They go to the gulag, they're never seen again. They're liquidated, they're killed. They're tortured in the most unbelievable ways you can imagine. It's sick. It's really sick. Without freedom of speech, we have no freedoms. LAMarzulli.com, LAMarzulli.com. Hats off to my good friend and business partner, Gil Zimmerman. 10 films on the UFO phenomena. 10 films on the UFO phenomena. There's a book, Run of Disclosure. You now know that I am up to run 19. Whoop, sorry about that, Chief. Run number 19 on the ladder of disclosure. And it's going up. And that, of course, I think we aired it yesterday. I'm not sure, but if not, it will air this week. Very important, because Mr. Barber states on the record that he encountered these things. He actually was in a retrieval position to take these things and retrieve them. And an entity came at him and then indwelt in him. It was a feminine entity, or he perceived it as a feminine entity, and it's still in him. Mr. Barber, sir, with all due respect, if you're watching this and you're having trouble sleeping at night because this thing is waking you up, you can shoot me an email, la@lamarzulli.net. We can talk off the record, no cameras on. And if you want it out, myself and a couple of people, because I won't do it alone, but we'll get it out for you. Not us, but him, Jesus, because Jesus' name is more powerful than any other name. That's it. And let's go over to Rumble, and I'll tell you what I really think.